Why am I going to spend 2 minutes destroying it?
Exactly. And I don't.
I'm not in the right place to do that as well, because I'm not a filmmaker. I know the hard work that goes into it. I know as an artist and as somebody that knows how hard it is to put your work out there in the world, to put the work in, and then for everybody to shit on it it's quite heartbreaking. So like, I'm not going to say, okay, maybe I didn't enjoy the movie, but here's the positive. Here's the keys that I take out from it. Listen, guys, we've already like rambled, and this is why it's amazing to have Wolver Steve on. Wolver Steve, thank you for coming on and geeking out with me. And I know we started off the conversation on a different matter, but the main reason we're conversating is they released way too much stuff yesterday and today.
Oh, mate.
I mean, how you been?
Well, you've seen my video. That was genuine raw emotion from me. That yeah, I meant that. I was bursting. I was at work and I did it. And my mate went, "What? Is your house still done? Are you sold? Are you moving?" Because I've been waiting to do that for 40. And I went, "What house?" No, look, there's Hugh Jackman in the yellow Wolverine suit. And they all laughed at me, but they know. And as you know, I love this. This is my thing. This is my god. And wow, I'm buzzing, mate. I've had 2 hours sleep. The full-on adrenaline rush from yesterday to now, and the endless social media things have bounced around. My phone's been going non-stop. And you're right. I almost feel like they've revealed too much now.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of guess, much like with Deadpool, when Ryan Reynolds first obviously had finally admitted he'd let that go to release it out. I feel they had to do it because clearly there's plenty of folk out there wanting to spoil it not in a bad way, but because they're overexcited as well. So what's going to happen? Why not do it themselves? And wow, what a suit! What a suit! No mask yet, of course, not yet. I genuinely, I'll bet my ass we're having that mask still. I've been saying it for years. It's going to happen.
I think you're definitely right. That will happen, and I feel like the scene that they're filming at the moment now with the massive 20th Century Fox in the background, is their first meeting, and he'll have the mask on.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. And they'll have a bit of a tussle, and it will come off for whatever reason. I have seen in that. I don't know how much you want me to say, but
no, go for
it. He eventually looks like he's cutting him up to do something.
Yeah, it looks like he threw a limb, didn't he?
Throws an arm or a leg. I think it's an arm. Yeah. It reminds me of the Ben Percy. Oh, Deadpool's gone. See, he's frightened. Ben Percy Wolverine run currently in the comics, where they end up together on a mission and they get trapped behind adamantium bars that they can't break out of. So Wolverine cuts Deadpool up, chucks a bit of him out so that he can press all the computer buttons or whatever to get them out. And it's that kind of vibe already. And yeah, oh wow, that suit, mate. Honestly, that suit, it is incredible. Everyone's whining about the sleeves. Shut up! What are you whining about? We've waited 23 years for this.
Exactly.
I've, as a child watching X-Men, TAS, the cartoon, I wanted that suit in reality because that's my thing. I love the cartoons. I love the comics. I love to see the real version as well. Like Dolph Lundgren's He-Man. When that happened, that's cartoon brought to life. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's that same vibe. We've got it. It's here. It looks incredible.
Dude.
No wonder Jackman liked my tweet umpteen months ago of me and my buddy Dave Poole in very, very similar suits together.
Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. I just saw that photo as well. I mean, yeah, I can only imagine your feelings. Even I think I slept at 2:30 with the amount of conversations I had yesterday about it. My brothers called me up and he was like, "Look, man, I can't believe we're gonna get this." And I'm like, I mean, I suppose as a fan, we kind of deserved it, and I'm kind of glad Marvel went with that. I do love the detailing on the suit. Hugh looks amazing. I love the hairstyle. I love the beard.
The 2013 movie hairdo and sideburns / beard, and it looks minty. That
Yeah.
that was his best. That was his peak Wolverine look in the movies. So to give him that image with that suit, it's perfect. And did you see it's got the ferrules on the gloves for the claws finally? You
I
know,
loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it, mate. Honestly, I was laid there, and every time I closed my eyes last night, it just kept spinning around my brain. I could see it. I may as well have had my eyes open. It's like burnt onto my retina. I loved it, and I do love it. And I've spent all day today, supposedly while at work, just bouncing around with everybody who non-stop across social media, because everybody seems to, who I know and who likes it as well, wants to talk to me about it, and vice versa. Hence you
That's
and I.
amazing. Yeah.
And I love it, mate. Honestly, I really do. It's here finally, all these years later.
Oh, it's an emotional moment. Definitely an emotional moment. I kind of got emotional yesterday as well.
Get emotional on your that in passion, and I like it. It's good. It's raw and it's real.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely is. My wife was like, "Why are you crying for?" And I'm like, "You don't understand," because it was like almost for me, it was almost like the moment in Mandalorian when Luke Skywalker turns up, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's an X-wing." And she was like, "Why are you standing up for?" And I'm like, getting closer to the TV, and I'm like, "Oh, I know he's got a green lightsaber. He's got the cloak. That's Luke. That's Luke. It's got to be Luke." And then I started tearing up, and she was like, "Why are you crying for?" And I'm like, I only wish you understood the feelings I have right now, because it's not actually grown kids crying. It's the kid inside me that's actually crying, because he's getting to see the stuff that he only wished for when we were a kid. And now, like, same thing, seeing Hugh Jackman in that suit. Oh, dude, I started bawling, and I was like, I can't contain the little boy in me, because I still carry. I will never let go of that kid, because it keeps us both young at heart.
Yeah,
And it just it brings it's joy, man. It's goodness. It's great time to be a fan right now. Definitely.
Your word. It's pure, unadulterated, childlike emotion
Mm-hmm.
for something brave for, something we've loved so long. And if you're a true, genuine fan, things like this hit home to you.
Mm.
And I can totally appreciate the emotion coming out of you. It's just one of those things. It's what we live for. I know no one lives in the past, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody likes a nod back to their past, to the things they love. And this is just accelerating it finally on an epic scale. And I cannot wait, mate. 297 days to go, honestly. But 285 days. It's happening. It's coming.
Well, it's gone down quick. You've been doing the countdown, since they announced it. So that's amazing. And you know what? The as Rob Liefeld said it himself, the passion that you put into it, like it's infectious, dude. And that's amazing when you could do that as a content creator, or somebody that actually genuinely loves you know what? I'm gonna call a person, a character. It's amazing, because it feeds off.
Well, I didn't expect that, but it was it's just me being me ultimately.
No, exactly.
And that says it all. If somebody of his caliber appreciates it, then even better, even better. I'm grateful for any of these superstars, if you like, they're involved in all of these projects when they notice us. It's why we do it. Certainly not why I do it, and I know it isn't yourself. But when it is noticed, it's appreciation. You appreciate them, they appreciate us back. It's perfect world.
No, exactly, dude, exactly, and that's amazing. And Rob's actually such a cool guy. I got to meet him a couple of years back, and geeking out about Deadpool and Wolverine as well. He again, same thing, infectious. Just you start talking about the artwork, you start talking about the characters, and he's quite responsive online as well, which is amazing. He loves to talk to his fans as well. That's always nice when somebody sees that as well. It's payment.
Yeah, they don't have to do it, but it shows that they're real people, and two, they're grateful for the pedestal they've been put upon by the likes of us and the millions of other fans, and that's always going to welcome in into my brain. It's mutual appreciation, and it's a nice thing to see. And there's plenty of them out there. I like to think in this the
No,
world
of course.
of books, and the artists and the writers, in my humble opinion, are generally some of the very, very best. I mean, you've met more of them than I, but I would love to meet Rob. We've bounced a bit of conversation back and forth across socials, and whenever I'll get a chance, whether it comes to England or if I can get over to sunny America, then yeah, I'll go for it.
No, definitely. Your paths will definitely cross, dude. I'm sure about that. Definitely sure about that. The universe works in strange ways. And I learned that last year. Like, well, actually, 2 years ago, when the Rock interacted with my post,
Yeah,
I didn't realize what sort of trajectory that it would take my work into. Well, what my passion's into,
I do.
because I've been doing artwork. I've been doing the podcast with my brother for almost 8 years. We've never asked for anything. We don't ask for anything. We genuinely just love doing it, and we love talking about our geekiness and our passion for movies and comic books. So that was just, yeah.
Yeah, but brilliant. That when you met him, honestly, when you met Dwayne, geez, how big is he compared to you? And two, wow, what a thoroughly bloody nice bloke, as us Brits say.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And to be honest, I remember when that happened, because as you said, you've got most of these superstars that are running Twitter accounts, usually run by somebody else. So when that got retweeted, and my phone had buzzed off, and I thought, I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, I've never seen this before. And we'd only started the Twitter account for the Brothers Geek Out podcast. And I thought it was a PR company or some like a fan page that retweeted it. Then I actually, the day later, I was like, oh my God, my phone is still popping off. And I looked at the message and I was like, holy shit. That was actually The Rock Johnson. I just was in, I was like, what the fuck? I sent it to my brother. I was like, is this the right account? And he was like, dude, that's The Rock. He retweeted you, dude. And I was like, oh my God. And then you read the message, because it was the quietest one. I think my daughter was 2 at the time and she was asleep. So I couldn't really scream and shout with my reaction. It was really quiet. And he noticed, he was like, this is the quietest reaction I've seen on here. And then I remember when we did meet, it was a surprise meeting. Nobody told us. They just invited us to the premiere for Black Adam. And, lots of love to the guys at Warner Brothers and DC Comics for hooking up a fan like that, because it's so rewarding in so many different ways, where you do put that passion and work into it. And I've never been about numbers, and it's always been about connection. If I can help inspire somebody listening to our podcast to do their own thing, I think my job's done there. But I remember in that moment, we were in the hotel and they said, come for drinks and some food, and then we'll drive you to the premiere. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. We never usually get treated like VIPs. Yeah. Who am I? I'm just a guy who loves this stuff. And then I think we were all having a conversation, and this hunk of man just comes in the room and he's like, look at all of these beautiful people. And I turned around and I was starstruck. I was genuinely starstruck. And he took time to chill with us and talk to us. And I was like, you've basically got all the people that you've interacted with in the UK for Black Adam in one room. Yeah. And here we go. And then, it was, it's unbelievable. I still think it was a dream to this day.
I can't fault you, mate. I really can't. You deserve it. You put the groundwork in without intentionally doing it to earn that. But boy, when you get that reward, it's very, very well deserved for you. And fair play to the big man for doing it as well.
No, definitely.
And it's fantastic. And it without turning it on me as such directly, but certainly back to Wolverine.
Yes, of course.
Reminds me of the when I was jammy in 2017, and people at Fox said, "Can you be in London next week?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. Why?" And they said, "Because Hugh Jackman wants to meet you." And I mentioned it last time we spoke, but even now, 6 years later, I get that little giddy feeling inside. It was just such a rush. And it was the same kind of thing as yours. I was starstruck. I was shaking with to meet him, and it was just wow. And he was so nice and so real and so down to earth. And you know, instantly when we were speaking, I was more chilled, and it was just amazing. The only thing I cocked up on that day is I didn't get a photo with Jim Mangold, and I should have done. But I was starstruck by him, and Hugh Jackman made that happen in a day because we weren't there for that. But you know, equally as much of a legend to me, James Mangold, for all his work he's done in all the movies. Obviously, with you know the two big hitters as well in my world. Plus, like we hinted at earlier briefly, Indiana Jones has just happened as well. But I should have got a photo with him. But the one thing that does last with me forever is when I first walked into that room and he looked really pissed off at me and pointed at me when I know you're the one that tweets the fuck out of me, he says. And then a big grin appeared on. Started laughing, and I was like, thank God.
Brilliant. No, I mean it's the love, and they recognize that, and the fact that, man, it's like getting handpicked to go to heaven. You know what I mean? Like here's that moment, and like you open the doors, and a character that's beloved for so long. I mean, Hugh, like I told you before, I never originally liked Hugh as Wolverine. Really? He only earned my respect after the Wolverine.
Right. Wow. Oh, he took some time then to get into it.
He did. And I don't blame him because it took a while for me to appreciate the love for the original X-Men movies.
Sure,
and what Hugh did with that character.
Yeah.
My issue was, as a comic book fan, I was like, where's my 5'2" berserker Wolverine gone? And where's the suit? And it was only after what James Mangold did in the story for the Wolverine, I was like, holy shit, I didn't see what everybody else saw in those first couple of movies. And I was like, oh my God, his face, this guy is Wolverine. He looks like him now. The hair, the body. And I was like, oh my God, they really put it in.
Watching X2 back, did you not get it from that? Because he was there then for me. He was there in the first one, but X2 really hit home as a core member of the X-Men, of course, and carries the films through the Foxverse. But even in that, when he's in the school attack, when he's doing his rage running through the hallway, taking out Stryker's guards,
that was good. Like, I don't know. It just like, it's actually, to be honest, that X2 is still one of my favorite movies. I still love that movie.
It's still brilliant.
It took ages for me to get back to it because I rewatched them. I do rewatch them again, but after the Wolverine and Days of Future Past, I was like, holy shit, Hugh Jackman is awesome. Like in Days of Future Past, because when the way they shot some of the scenes, and I know that they did do some scenes where they make him look slightly a bit shorter than the rest of the cast.
They even made him stand like James Marsden on a box at times, and Hugh without boots on, and all sorts. And by X2, they gave up with it because they just thought, yeah, this guy's Wolverine. We don't need to mess around like
that. But yeah, no, like he earned my respect. I mean, Days of Future Past and Logan really, like Logan knocked it out of the ballpark for me. But Days of Future Past, there's something I love about that movie that I felt like, oh my God, they finally did, for me personally, like this is a very good comic book movie. Like this is the stuff I want to see. Like, when you open up an X-Men comic book, it always starts off with some sort of madness. And I think Bryan Singer showed that really well in that one. Definitely.
I agree.
Yeah.
One of the very best, if not the best still, of the. And my one minor gripe at that point was that future where Wolverine has that cool suit and the hints of yellow and blue in it. Give him the mask then, because fighting those futures, everyone always questions, why does Wolverine need armor? He doesn't. He's Wolverine. He heals fast as fuck. There's only this guy that heals better. But if ever he needed armor and a mask or a helmet or whatever, for those future Sentinels, those Nimrod Sentinels almost, that would have been perfect. Have him going up against one of those. and they should have put it in there. There was concept designed for that suit for exactly that movie, and that's what one of my original cosplays, not well, I say original, one of my older cosplays was based on. And I just thought, I don't get why they didn't put it in there then, if they were going to do it. And I genuinely thought, like probably most of the world, Logan's been done gone. We're not getting it. However, I still didn't shut up about it online, and I was back because the hashtag was one last time for Logan, and I kept back. Come on, you. Never mind one last time. Hashtag one more time, and I was tagging Reynolds in it endlessly, and the Deadpool movie, and the Wolverine movie on Twitter, and I'm not responsible for it, of course. Ryan Reynolds is deeply, but it's here finally. So my work was done, 6 years ago almost for this.
No, that's great. That's great. It's absolutely great. It's it's amazing that we've finally come to that point where we're getting this. I mean, even when the announcement happened, I know all of us freaked out dramatically, and I know we've had developments with loads of cast coming in. We're getting almost like a multiversal story. I think it looks like we're gonna get the House of M as well. They're looking to introduce. Was it Scarlet Witch? Yeah, Scarlet Witch.
That's one of the many rumors. I could see it happening. Obviously, from the few leaks that have happened again yesterday, there's that big Century Fox sign that's battered to buggery in the background. So what was rumored a while back, obviously, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, aka Fox Universe. That odds on has to be. I don't get why they're fighting, of course, at this point, but good. I don't want to know everything at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
I would love leaks, but even me, as someone who I could watch that daily, I kind of want it to stop now at this point. Just keep it under wraps now until we get a trailer or something. But that's what generally it has to, just because of that Fox sign blown to smithereens in the background.
Yeah, that's the thing, marketing, man, and it's the only way to try and keep on top of things. And we've come to a point now, and I suppose we're old enough to know that society are quite spoiled. We want everything at an instant.
Yeah.
And we're the same. I'm the same. I always geek out when I see spoilers and things like that come up, and I'm like, I can't get away with it. I want to know it because I'm excited. So we are prone to getting a lot more, but hopefully, I kind of wished it went back to the old school marketing where, you've got your trailers and a few posters, and then, then the movie comes out and we're wowed by everything. I don't really, recently, as you've known, most of the stuff that we got, I mean, the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I can't believe they put Professor Xavier in the trailer.
I know. What a not a waste, but what a giveaway so soon.
It was just,
you just expected it, obviously. Then you knew it was happening, and I love that movie. I thought it was brilliant, but we needed more multiverses in it. We needed something else. That's still brilliant, and it's definitely different. The horror aspect I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
very good. But it's a good movie. But you're right. It is. Spoiler should have been. It should have just been left to be a genuine shock and surprise.
It should have. It should have, and they need to keep stuff like that under wraps. I think the people that do the trailer edits, because from what I heard last time was, it's not the same company doing the trailers. People just cut it up and give it to somebody, and somebody else approves it. So somebody like Kevin Feige wasn't, when he heard that had happened, he was like, "Why the fuck did you guys do that for?"
Yeah. Well, and he's right. I mean, and exactly like you say, a trailer used to be exactly what it should be, a teaser, and to basically go off the path of what the film is actually going to pan out like. And it is a different world nowadays because it's a cash cow and it's a market to get bums on seats. Every time I go nowadays, it's very, very rarely full. Even if you go on first night for these epic films. The last time I saw it full was Spider-Man, a few years ago. But that's pretty poor in a sense. If that's the last one I've seen where it was actually genuinely full of every seat, it should be better. I love the cinema. it's that pure escapism again. It's that childish adrenaline of emotion. Exactly where going back to where we started.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Right, watching something, it'd probably be in there because I'm in it. I'm in the zone even more there. There's no distractions around.
That's
I'm
right.
just in that vibe with it. Um, the beauty of film, the beauty of the programs, like you say with the Mandalorian.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's right. It's
not in the world, but that series is fantastic. I love it. It's really
no, it's a
good.
great series. Great callbacks to old Western cowboy movies and stuff like that, and samurai movies as well. So it's amazing that they Dave Filoni and it's gone right. John Favreau have brought this character into this world
Yeah.
where not many people knew about. I mean, he's had his own books, comics. He's not really in the Star Wars like movies.
No.
It's only because of Boba Fett, and then moving on. It's amazing what they can do now. But as you said, no bums on seats, dude. Cinema is my second home,
Yeah.
and to go to the cinema, and when you go to events, yes, the seats are packed, and everybody's sharing photos of a packed cinema and stuff like that. But like I went to watch what did I go watch recently? I know Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has made a lot of money in the cinemas,
Right.
but when I went to watch it again, and I went to watch it twice,
Yeah.
there was hardly anybody in the cinema. It was just
That's my point.
probably 10 people in the cinema. I think the third time I watched it, there was only 3 of us.
It's
And I'm
crazy.
talking about 8 o'clock in the evening where most people would actually go out and watch something. And I'm like,
Peak
why is
time.
it so dead? So
Yeah.
dead. It's unbelievable. And it's a
Yeah.
shame you're hearing all of these box office numbers, which is heartbreaking to see because, The Flash, Indiana Jones, anything that came out previously have just done horrendously with numbers. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think the only thing about the Marvel movies is that they'll make money, which
Yeah.
is they're really good at what they're doing and the way they market it. But there is an incline and a decrease in numbers because it's coming up on Disney Plus like 2 months later. So people
Yeah.
are quick to say, you know what, I'll wait for that to come out. And
I was going to say that exact point.
yeah.
Here's the problem, really. It's taken over it almost. One, out of laziness, and two, out of expense, because people are those to get, every single thing, every single channel, because there's a program on each you all want to watch. Before you know, burn through 50 quid a month instantly on that. So then on top of that, a 25 quid perhaps for 2 year trip to the cinema, you maybe can't afford it genuinely.
No, it's true. It's true. It is quite expensive, but I do put a pot aside for it.
As do I. Yeah, we all sort of live to our means, of course, and
yeah,
what our cinema money is to us is somebody else's, I don't know, preferred hobby or whatever on top, isn't it?
Of course.
But the TV thing is definitely a factor, and I can understand why. But I'm obsessive with. I like the cinema, as I've said, for the tranquility and the I'm in it zone. Whereas if at home, I'm inclined to zone out or drift off or pause it or look at my phone or anything. Someone will knock on the door. So it's still ultimately better to be in that moment with those superstars in that film, that story. I hope, and I really hope it doesn't die ultimately, and I don't think it will. We just need some big hitters to keep it going constantly, and it's a slightly worrying sign if the likes of the Flash and Indy 5 are failing money wise, because I thought fantastic as you do, especially the Flash. I really enjoyed that.
It's a good fun movie, and
yeah,
I know it's come with a bit of bad rap, but it's just like put the madness aside for a moment and escape into a comic book movie. It's pretty decent, and it made me laugh, and it gave me a nostalgic feeling with Keaton coming back. Like that's my era of Batman.
And mine, and he was fantastic. He was the best bit in it for me. Ultimately.
Yeah, same. He was absolutely awesome.
Well, a different take on her, but I welcomed that with open arms. I thought she was brilliant, and let's hope she's off to show off even more, really, and a different story altogether.
No, definitely. I hope so. I mean, do you think, on a personal level, do you think we're oversaturated at the moment? I love the content. That's me. but do you think it's a bit too much?
I do. I love the content as well, but I genuinely do, and I've said it myself because even 5 years ago, you'd watch these things with genuine awe because you hadn't seen it before.
Hmm.
Now, generally seen something similar, and there's so much of it. Where even 5 years ago, again, you'd watch the same thing 3 or 4 times because it was that good.
Hmm.
Now, watch it once, and you don't forget about it as such, but there's something else instantly to watch. So you don't necessarily have time to keep rewatching things. Yeah, sadly, I've watched the Wolverine 137 times, genuinely full through, and I've watched it God knows how many times in bits when it's appeared on TV.
Yeah.
And that's because I just bloody loved it, and I'd put it on, and it'd be my thing, and I'd be in it. But I'm never going to do that again for hardly anything, other than probably these two.
Mm.
That's not going to happen. I wouldn't do it with half the stuff that's out nowadays, especially the TV series. They're lucky
Yeah.
if I want almost, I feel like if I'm saying that, Mr. Superfan, supposedly, there's something arguably not right, and while some of it might be me, it probably isn't. It's probably just saturated market, as you said.
Superhero fatigue, dude. I personally think it's the same. It's rewatchability, isn't it? It's like how I slap on Back to the Future or Never Ending Story, that I could actually really still enjoy and love it, but I can
Yes.
still put it on.
Yeah.
Where, say, like, I shouldn't say Ant-Man Quantumania. I
Yeah.
saw it the once. I haven't watched it again. It's on Disney Plus. I still
You
haven't watched it because I
put
just
all
don't think it doesn't have that rewatchability to it.
exactly. We're on the same wavelength as usual. It
Mm.
is the exact same thing, and it's a shame because a lot's gone into some of these projects and
Yeah.
movies. They deserve it, but they're
Mm.
never going to because arguably they're not as good.
No, you're right. I can agree with that 100%. It
Even
just doesn't have that.
Thor
Let me
film,
slap this on.
it's that same kind of thing. If he's saying it about the last Thor film, even he thought it went off course a bit. Then what does that say to the audience?
No, no, of course, exactly. But saying that, Extraction 2 was fucking awesome.
Oh, mate, what? Yeah, what?
I really enjoyed that. I feel like that should be his genre of movie because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
really good. I really enjoyed the first one, and this one continuing his story. Uh, I think it's good old 80s sort of action movies. I love it. It's like it's
you're
his
right.
own thing, and like there's one thing that I praise. The old action stars like Chuck Norris, Bruce Willis, Arnold, Sly, that they could keep going and doing these stuff. And
Yeah,
those movies are cult classics. I mean, Cobra and Rocky, and you've got Predator and Commando. Like, I could slap on Commando now and still enjoy it for the cheesiness.
yeah. I agree. I completely agree, mate. I really do. You wouldn't necessarily put a modern one on for that for the same reasons we're saying.
It's tough. It's tough. I just feel like cinema has had its. I think in the past years, it's had its hard graft because there are some movies that I've seen that have actually been genuinely good, but I don't understand why it's not getting people in the cinema.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm not sure why either. Other than it is probably money and
Mm,
factor. It's still on TV. Not that long after nowadays, and
I know
and it
we used to wait 10 years for something to come on TV.
didn't you just I can remember the excitement of getting like Empire magazine, a total film as a kid, and there was
Yeah.
a little panel, a little picture of whoever, even Hugh Jackman in 2000. I've got a photo of me stood holding the Empire magazine with him on the front as Wolverine. Excited I was all those years ago. Well, you don't. It's in your hand within seconds, as we proved from yesterday's breakthrough news.
Hmm. Hmm. And that's how
It,
hard.
all
That's
of
so
that,
hard.
it's because it's so fast at you. You don't have time to take it in and evolve your passion around it, I suppose. But hey, I've got this passion from all these bloody years for this particular thing,
Mm.
as all of your favourite things, including this. So we're still old school.
No, of course, of course, of course, of course. It's I mean, I can't wait. I'm truly excited to see where they head with it. I heard, so if I'm right, we're gonna have Owen Wilson in this as well, right?
Yes, yeah, there's Mobius again. Yeah,
So
yeah,
TVA. Oh my god, this is gonna be really interesting. where they take this. And I know it's been in the works for a long time now. So bringing them into the MCU would be very interesting to see where they go with it.
I agree, and I'm intrigued what's going to happen with said X-Men that are a dead certainty, really, to be cameoing after this. It's going to be the Fox people, of course, the Fox actors.
Mm-hmm.
Not to carry them on ultimately much further than this. Secret War will be the end game, the very bitter end game of it all. Will it be the end for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine? Probably. Should it be? Probably. Would I like to see him carry on ultimately? Hell yeah.
It's difficult because you try and put yourself in that person's shoes when he's already played the character plus 20 years now.
Yes.
And you know, I know he adores, like, every time I watch his interviews, and he adores this character. And I love the fact, because I remember seeing an interview when he first went to audition for Wolverine, and he was acting like the animal, and he was going all into it, and it just made me like really was like, look at the passion that's going into it, man. He was really excited to play this character, and they were like, no, tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing to see that, and it's funny because I saw Mission Impossible 2 the other day, and was it Scott Duggie? No,
Ray Scott.
That's it. Yeah, that, you know, he could have been Wolverine because they wanted him.
He was cast. He was signed up, wasn't he? Yeah, they had to back him. MI2, and like you said earlier, that some of these things are just meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it obviously opened Hugh Jackman's world ever more out to the whole world of entertainment all around with his stage shows, and now he was already well known. But it's enabled him to leap into anything and everything, that he's earned to do.
No, of course.
I'm still glad he's seen something new here to bring him back into it, because the energy that him and Ryan Reynolds have together in everything they've done, taken on social media, it's perfect. You're right, and it should just flow into this film. Everyone keeps saying, well, aren't you nervous that Ryan Reynolds can't improv because of the script writers' strike? No, that script will be bang on. It really will. And if there's 3 words that are out, well, so be it. That'll be bang on. They'll have nailed that down perfectly before all.
I think because of the relationship they already have as friends, I think it'd be absolutely awesome. I think they're going to be great, and they're going to put their time. And these two actors love these characters.
Yes, definitely.
They wouldn't have played them if they didn't. You know.
Correct. You're right. They wouldn't, and they've got that love. And I'm no writer, as I was going to say, but I could write a script for them too, based on what I know of how they work and bounce off each other. You could, and so a professional writer that's already done this script, or writers, they're going to know that way better than us. Way better. So
exactly.
I have every faith in this script. I have every faith in those 2 in particular to carry this movie through, with whoever else appears. The cameos. It's definitely going to be Patrick Stewart, Professor X. Favorite Ian McKellen, Magneto.
Yes.
Definitely James Marsden. Definitely Famke Janssen. I ponder, but only ponder, we might get Daphne Keane, X-23, Laura, Wolverine. I ponder. That's the one I would love to see as the big surprise. But who knows? The bizarre one, in a sense, it's confirmed, isn't it? Jennifer Garner as Elektra, but she'll not be there for long. But it's confirmed. It's somehow so.
So I mean, he's jumping around different timelines, so it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I know they said Ben Affleck to come back as Daredevil. That wasn't confirmed.
If she's in it, he has to be, because they go together, don't they? So
of course they do.
Channing Tatum Gambit, I think he's going to look fantastic.
Yes, definitely.
They'll give him a proper star moment, and then there's bound to be some cheesy shit joke at the end of it. And but wow, that we love that stuff, don't we?
Exactly. It's all about the cheese, man. I love the cheese. It's I grew up on cheese, man. So I'm happy for it to be in there, and it's in the comic books as well, man. Who says comic books are not cheesy? You know, there are moments in there where you're like, really? That's proper cheesy, but
Yes.
it's something that I think it works well.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really like it, or they find it uncomfortable, or they're not comfortable with themselves. I love it
Yeah.
to bits, dude. I can admit to it. I love a bit of movie cheese, man. Even what was it? Arnold's new one, Fuba. It is so cheesy. I I,
Yes.
I love it.
It's good. I've had this phrase for years. It's shit but good, and nail on the head for Fubar.
Yeah, exactly. And then I saw Stallone playing a gangster in
I've not.
Tulsa King.
Looks good.
Dude, it's fucking amazing. I
Yeah.
hate dropping the F bomb. Hopefully the kids are asleep. It is he's brilliant. I don't know why we've waited so long for him to play a gangster. Like
Yeah.
the writing is spot on, and it's Stallone in his like he's in his core, man. I love it. It's amazing. But before I wanted to end the show, dude, I did want to ask you a question. Moving
Yeah.
forward with the MCU and everything happening,
Yeah.
who would you think? I mean, did you have somebody in mind already to play the character of Logan?
A future Logan, a new one.
Mm-hmm.
We've had this chat briefly before, and I've had it
Mm-hmm.
with a few. If we're to have a named actor, then I'm happy for it to be somebody Taron Egerton like, who obviously got linked to it, but it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like those links, when they got revealed a tad more, he was linked to probably being Cyclops. Um,
Mm.
that aside, there's some mega fan art of him as Wolverine, and I think he could pull it off. I think he's a great actor, and he's young enough, and he's certainly
Well,
fit
he did
enough.
something recently on Apple TV where he's in prison, but he jacked up, man. He put
Yes,
on so much weight for it, and I was like, right, he cut up nicely, so I can
he could
see it.
he could do it. But that him aside, it has to be some relative unknown, much like Hugh Jackman was,
Mm.
plucked out of somewhere else. Who's he's done a few roles like Jackman did. Somebody like that. It just has to be one to give them a fighting chance and a lot less pressure than even Taron Egerton would be under, because
Mm.
he's a pretty damn famous guy on his own right for everything he's done already.
Mm.
Two, just to go unique again, just a proper reboot, proper restart. So you're not thinking this is Taron Egerton as Wolverine. You're thinking this is Wolverine.
That's right, exactly. That'd be good. Yeah.
And I think that way. I genuinely don't think, as much as I'd love to see, I don't think we're going to have Laura, aka X-23, aka Wolverine, instead of Logan going
Mm.
forward. I think we'll have both eventually, but I think Logan needs to be around one way or another. Wolverine is Logan, vice versa. I love them
Mm-hmm.
both. I don't think she's going to replace him anytime in the future. Ultimately, in the movies, not Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I mean the character
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine, um, because it needs to be Logan Wolverine for a full fresh reboot going forward.
That's right. Yeah.
A younger guy. Have you anyone in mind that you know of, or
It's weird. I mean, I've seen him in so many movies, and I mean, he's not. You know what? Frank Grillo for some reason.
yeah, I get. Yeah, I think he's too old, but
Yeah,
yeah,
he's too old now. But there was a
yeah,
movie I saw recently called Boss Level with Mel Gibson,
I've seen that.
and I was like, hold up, this guy
Yeah,
reminds me of Wolverine, and I could
yeah,
see it. Like he had the body shape, he had the look, and I was like, he had the brown leather jacket, and I was like, you know what? All I can see is Wolverine in this movie, and he
yeah.
has some characteristics that he does. But yeah, again, he is too old, and
Carl
I
Urban,
think he's
everyone's
oh
saying
yeah, Carl Urban as well. Yes.
he's too old. He's nearly as old as Hugh Jackman. So why would you?
No, exactly, exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, as you said, somebody new that's freshly plucked, and nobody knows much about him. So then we could concentrate on the character of Logan and Wolverine.
don't
But I
distract.
think they should do. I've been thinking about this a lot. I mean, my brother have been talking about it because the X-Men is so vast, and bringing them into a 2.5 hour movie will be interesting to see.
Yeah,
But because we want some real origin stories, I was hoping maybe a little TV show like a couple of like an 8 episode on each character, Wolverine, Cyclops,
yeah,
and then going into a movie because then what we've done with the MCU, what they did with Iron Man and the Avengers. We got the first couple of movies where we got to know the characters before they became a team, and then we've grown with them for the past 20 years, and we adore them. I'd love to have that love with the X-Men. The X-Men need some loving, man. They so need some loving. I want them to have a great future ahead in the MCU, but I want the same love that the Avengers got, but with the X-Men.
You're right, and I can see it happening one way or another. As much as I probably would chunt her internally at the start, it needs to start with X-Men without Wolverine.
Yeah, that's right.
Just to give the character a little rest, because you see these people bitching about it online. Oh, another Wolverine film, even though it's called X-Men, it's all Wolverine. I get what they're saying, but to me, I don't care. I love it. No. But they need to start the next wave of X-Men without him.
You know what?
Do the core original X-Men.
Yes.
Mix it. There's so much diversity in that original 5, if you like. Brilliant. That's how it started in the first place.
They did that with First Class. That was the first one. I know they had a little cameo, but
yeah, of course,
it worked. It's another. Actually, I completely forgot. That's another one I adore, and the soundtrack is amazing as well. Shit, such a good film. Such a good film. Such a good film. I'm gonna watch it tonight, dude. Now that I said that, shit, I completely forgot about it. It's like I remember when me and my brothers came out of that cinema, and we were like, "Oh my god!" Like that made me feel like a more appreciating of the X-Men movies.
Yes.
But I was like, they continued it, and we got another version. What did we get? Was it the Dark Phoenix they did again?
Well, they did Dark Phoenix, didn't they? And they did X-Men Apocalypse in the middle of them, which was I like X-Men Apocalypse. I still like it. I enjoy watching it. I've seen it quite a lot of times, and the worst thing about it is probably Apocalypse, sadly. But good. But that should have been Dwayne Johnson. Back to where we started with him. He should have been the Rock should have been the Rock. I can't even say it. The Apocalypse with the Rock. The apocalypse of that film, because he had that stature, that power,
That's right.
That's Oscar Isaac, he's an actor, and he's proved that with everything else he's done with his 27 other Marvel characters since. Apocalypse just needs to be bigger.
No, I did. They did. I don't. There's things that they've done where, like, I really enjoyed Dark Phoenix, the one that they did. My only issue is that they made Mystique. Like, how did they make Mystique? Because Wolverine and Mystique ended up becoming like the go-ahead for the X-Men team. Where I was like, oh, what are they doing with Mystique? I'm kind of lost, but I thought it was a good movie. Definitely, I still watch it.
And I agree, but it got messed around. They wanted to reportedly have the Skrulls and all sorts, didn't they? Jessica Chastain was wasted in it as a pretty much nameless, bland villain. And when she could have probably been, realistically, originally, Lilandra from
that's what I'm saying.
But that got tied up with the Disney takeover of Marvel / the X-Men movies, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did.
It could have been good. But there's still some nice things to see in that train fight at the end, which was originally
amazing.
A space. I love that. Magneto in that, wow. And Nightcrawler even. There's no no punches pulled in that. They tear those whatever aliens they are to shit in that, and I love it.
Exactly. No, it's good. Listen, we get some great visual, stunning stuff, and stuff that they pull out of the comic books, and some things maybe not have fallen right, but overall, I still enjoy the fact that I still get these characters on the screen, and I think for me personally, Michael Fassbender as Magneto has been amazing.
I agree.
He is so good. It's unbelievable.
He's still young enough; he could do it, I think. But
continue.
A hard reboot or not, doesn't it? Going forward.
No. That's right. I mean, they'll always have my respect for representing these characters from the books. So I'll adore those characters, because it's like, I don't know what it's going to be like when I do end up hitting the ages of 60 and 70 and what sort of stuff we're going to get on the big screen. But I'm like 41 and I'm still getting to see my favorite characters on the screen
Yeah,
come to life. It's amazing.
we're very lucky. We're,
Yeah.
we're we're in a good era, and we are really target market. As much as they're trying to bring in the younger folk as well,
Mm.
anybody and everybody involved in it. We're the target market for a lot of the merchandise nowadays as well.
Yeah.
They, they know what we're like. They know there's us big kids out there, and they know we'll just throw endless cash at it because we
Oh
love it.
yes, dude. Oh yes. Oh yes. Nothing
Yeah,
like another big ass Batman
yeah,
statue. Now we've moved to statues. My mum's
yeah.
loft has become basically my mum's house is the gather around where all the brothers and my sister goes, and that's the geek out room. But that's where we put our collection. And my mum's like, you know what? I'm kind of glad you did that. You've turned the attic into your guys' space. That means you come home to see me.
Good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I'm finally moving house as I mentioned at the beginning. So finally, my Wolverine Mark II will be recreated soon and up and running. So
I
we'll have
can't
to
wait. I
touch
can't
base
wait.
because I've got a lot more stuff since I took everything else down and reboxed it all ready for moving house. So I'm looking forward to doing it and sitting in there and just staring in pure childish joy at it all again.
You know what you
And
need to do, dude? Well,
more to it.
before you do that, make sure
Mm,
you do like a time lapse video. Have the camera sitting in the background
yeah,
on each wall, one by one. I know it's going to take a while, but just you're going to
yeah.
love it because when you look back at it, because that's one thing I wish I could have done before we've redone our mum's third floor. Was
Mhm.
I wish I had more pictures of the old setup, but I wish I filmed us fixing it up again. And it's
Right.
amazing to pull out. You know, we put a lot of stuff back into boxes, taking them out of boxes, and looking at a collection, and adoring things like I've got such a big Back to the Future collection. Like my loft is just full of Back to the Future stuff, and every time I go up there to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go sort things out," but really and truly, I'm up there just admiring some of the stuff I got up there, and I'm like, I wish I had the space to display it. And we're on the hunt to look for another house. Uh,
Right.
and I'm already looking for an outhouse, a place with
Yeah.
an outhouse where I can
Right.
have my little space, my fortress of solitude.
Yeah, well, I've picked the perfect house with my girlfriend for this, and shock
Mm.
horror, I have a girlfriend that doesn't mind me liking all this stuff. So
That's so good, bro. Bless you, man. Bless you. I know how
got
hard that is. I remember my ex. She didn't before we got divorced. She was like, "What the fuck are you into, man? I don't understand why you got a grown ass man has all these toys." And I was like, "They're not toys. Do not call them toys. Do you watch me playing with them? No. I stare at them. I admire them. They're statues. They're collectibles. They are part of my childhood. There, you know what I mean? But my wife now, bless her, man, I love her to bits. She's the key to all of this happening again. I mean, after my divorce 10 years ago,
yeah,
to be honest, I didn't even know. I remember going back to my mum. I was living up north, and my mum was like, "Come back home and like just come back home. You've gone through enough. Just come home.
yeah,
Things will turn out all right." And I went into the loft. Like I was staying in. She had like a loft room. I was staying there, but she kept all my artwork. And you know
right,
what artwork was? Actually, I've got it away now, but it was a picture of the X-Men I did when I was 16 years old.
brilliant. I need to see
And
it. Dig it.
I'm gonna dig it out and I'll share it with you. And it's a Jim Lee piece that he did. I can't remember from which run it was, but I had this massive Wolverine. It was jumping out of the page, and you had the X-Men behind him. I think it was Gambit, Cyclops, and Rogue. I think it was on there. It was still an unfinished piece, but it was the piece that got me back into drawing again, because I
Good.
had stopped drawing for like 15 years. And I was like, "Mum, you kept everything," and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to throw it away. This is your stuff." And I went through all my artwork, dude, and like all my pictures of the X-Men, and my uncle was an artist as well, and he's the one who got me into. I think he gave me my first couple of comic books, which were Superman and the X-Men, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this stuff," and I continued it on, and there we go. Thanks, Mum. You've
Yeah.
you've got me back into my passions. You got
Good
me
old
into doing stuff I love. So good old Mum, innit?
Yeah, I need to get back into drawing. I've got enough skill at doing it, and I used to adore it as well. And it was always, as that 10-year-old kid that first saw this hairy man in yellow, it was all that drew me in most. And I
Mm.
read it, liked it, and I carried on from there. but it's always been about the artwork. And then things like this, when these come out, that's a work of art as well in its own go.
Of course.
So I get you. I really should probably concentrate more on mine, and I will do in time as well when I get.
I hope so, dude. I'm gonna find that picture. I'm gonna share it with you. I don't care what you say, man. I know you do so much content with this, but put 5 minutes into it. Just draw something, man. I want to see it because it's amazing. Art is such a form of expression, man, and you know, comic book artwork has brought so much joy to me.
Yeah,
and as I can see, man, it's brought joy to you as well. It got you into what you're doing now, and it's amazing.
Starting me off.
But no, listen, dude, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you so much for your time as always, guys. Wolver Steve's links are all in the bio right now, all in the description. Twitter, Instagram. Are you on Threads now?
Yeah, I went on that the first day. Yeah, I like it actually.
It's actually pretty good. Threads, TikTok, and his YouTube channel, guys. So, guys, please go subscribe, go follow. Check out this guy's journey. Check out the passion that he has for this character, this beloved character. And you know, I knew. You know, the first person that came into my mind when that picture came up.
What, me?
Was you. I went to your page, the first page. I was like, because I didn't know if it was real. So I went to your page and it was like, yes, this is real. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So, you know, it's amazing that you could do that to somebody where the first person they go to is, you know, they go to see their friend first and be like, is this real? What's going on? How you feeling? What's going on? Like, because I don't know, man, that's a great connection there, dude. And I'm always thankful. I'm always grateful for the love that you share with us as well. So thank you so much for coming on again. And yes, you know what? We've got more to talk about because there's going to be more episodes. There's going to be more good stuff coming. So
yeah, let's do it again. Definitely. I love it. I love it every time we chat, every time we message. It's good fun, mate. Need to meet up in reality again. It's been a while.
Yes, definitely, dude. Definitely. I mean, when you're down in London next, just let me know, dude. I'm happy to come meet up and we'll catch up, grab some food, maybe go to the comic book shop, talk more movies, and let's talk about working with more collabs. I think I'm thinking about some stuff that I've been wanting to do for a long time now. So, I mean, what con are you at next?
I don't know. Everybody keeps wanting me to go left, right, and centre, which is brilliant. I love it, but this house move's tying up me for the Manchester one that I was thinking of going to.
Okay.
So it might well be one of the MCMs later in the year down in London again. I haven't been to London for a little bit for a Comic Con, so yeah, I'm due one.
Well, dude, let me know, man. More than welcome to hang out and chill, man, with you. Definitely, I'd be honoured to have Wolver Steve here, man.
Likewise, I'd be honoured to do it with you.
Nah, awesome. All right, thanks again, guys, and as always, nothing but love and positivity. And Wolver Steve, thank you for coming on.
Nice one. Stay sharp, bub. See you in a bit.
All right, you too. See ya.